Right. 3, 2, and we're live, baby! Woohoo! And welcome back to the World Forge, where we forge worlds, but we haven't gotten there yet. We're working on just a world right now. Well, no, technically every plane is a world, but they're microcosm planes. It's true. It's true. But anyway, I'm Eric, and I am over here from the Hebridean Tales. You want to give them a quick recap of last time? If you didn't listen, fuck you. Terrelia, the nature of not the plane, the plane and heaven of nature. Wow, I can words. We're off to a great start. Uh-huh. Heavenscape's down. Down, down, down. You're in limbo. There they are. Mm-hmm. 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 Yes. No, that one was Terrelia. Yes. Etolium is just one large city with districts. Mm-hmm. Yes. Nope. And if you are in chat and you have any questions about anything or would like us to follow up on anything, let us know. We'd be happy to answer any questions for you. One thing we did get on threads today. Let me get this right. Because oh yeah, you go ahead and do your hashtag not sponsored. That looks dope. Awesome. And if you can't reach out to Chris over at the chaos den podcast, pretty much everywhere on social media, I think you've gotten that. And hit him up, and he will work with you to figure out what he can do to help. If you're that desperate, he'll help. But today I put out about what happened on the video about what happened to dragons when they die. That was one of the little shorts and reel I put out today. So Dungeons and Cards over on Threads put a comment saying phase dragons are a thing that they use. And they typically show up in a different realm. They show up in different realms. If they die in that realm, they gradually reform into themselves again. So if they die in their native realm, they just reform. But since the realm is also its creatures, it would be like cutting hair from a body. So it's going to regrow, but it's not as comfortable or easy on you in the short term while it's regrowing. Probably. And if those phase dragons are killed outside of the realm, then their bodies can infect the realm that they're in unexpected ways. So I'm seeing, when I read that, in my head I saw like so if in ours, if a dragon of the Fae died of the material, you would have Fae corruption happening within the material plane. Or if a Fae went to the fire, there would be Fae influences now in the realm of fire. Yeah. Until the plane of fire eventually healed itself. Or eradicated the issue. Through more fire. No. I used Fae. It's a phase dragon. Yes. No, I apologize for not being very enunciative. But, yeah. No, it's a phase dragon. So whenever they go to a different plane of existence, they didn't specify. No, it was just I said it. What happens to dragon? My question on on Threads was, what happens to the dragons when they die in your world? So, he was answering my question. Yeah. As we dive into our various cosmology here, because we haven't started talking about the dragons that might live in the other planes. Dragons are not a thing we've gone in great detail with, but that might be next after we finish the cosmology, because dragons are heavy in the cosmology. We might go into dragons next. Yeah, right. But let's get the cosmology work done first. and we were headed to Cherubim. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And if once we create this, we'll go back through, and the other half of our episode tonight, I think, will be assessing, making sure we've gotten all of our heaven planes and our heaven concept fully covered. If we're missing anything, we may create a new plane for it, or we might incorporate it into a different plane. But in some capacity, we'll do an evaluation of heavens and go from there to hell next week. To hell next week. Both. I already say fuck next week. You and me, baby, ain't nothing but mammals. That's about all I got. That's fair. So roll the fucking dice, bitch. Sit your ass down, stand your ass up, and roll that d20 and watch the crits happen. Because everyone just recharged today on that fucking eclipse. I was watching videos. They were all throwing their sun out. They were all throwing their dice out into that sun. Right? I wasn't going to do it. I'm only at 90% here, so it wasn't something nice. Mm-hmm. It was just random midnight in the middle of the day. Or maybe 9 p.m. Yeah. But it hit here too. Oh wait, 3:15 your time would be 4:15 here. Ow. I cracked my back. It felt good, but ow. We're off to see the cherubs, the wonderful cherubs with bums. Going all bootylicious, baby. All right. We are kicking it off great. I love it. I love it. I love it. Why? No, cherries with big asses, not cherries. Bootylicious. Bootylicious cherries that take care of the needs of the young. Oh, yeah. Well, here's... Okay. Peaceful and full deaths definitely go here. Doesn't matter what age you are, a peaceful, full life lived. Because if you've got a regret, you're going back because the one Sphinx is sending your ass back to fucking Kingdom Come. You're done. No. You're going back as a ghost, baby. You go back to Unity, bro. It is. And it's something we have to constantly remember. Now, you brought up the elderly. I want to give you a thought on that. The elderly have lived a whole life. Why, in the plane of peace, as a heaven, would they still have an elderly body? That's... They would all... Correct. Their prime. The body in their prime. No, but it's a good one, right? Like, body reverts back to the prime of their youth. In peace, yes. For creation, and for Etolium and Terrelia, though, you would not have a choice. But that choice is given by the Sphinxes through their eternal questions that they've been asking you. I mean, aside from the waiting in line for an eternity that the DMV to start with. And we have one after you die, baby. Assuming you don't fail the test 4 times like at the DMV. Failing at this DMV is a bad thing, baby. Don't do it. Don't do it. I'm gonna do it right now, bud. Like, / lost souls. The internal DMV. There we go. Zootopia. You said it last time because that's what Terrelia kind of is. So it does, and that's the thing, right? What is here? What do we have here? What's important here? What kinds of gods live here? Mm-hmm. I was gonna put in a jab at cops and just say and decent cops, but no. But they're the same thing as most paladins. Cops are just paladins who've done an oath of government. Mm-hmm. Okay. Now, back in the Grey Wastes, we said that there is a war going on between the heavens and the hells. In Atolium, they're making the weapons. We have not discussed where the army lives and where the army is from. Where? Nope. That's the Grey Wastes. That's the Grey Wastes army. The Celestial War. Where's Heaven's army? Where do the angels come from? We know they go to Atolium to get geared up. And if they need a horse, they go to Torellia for horses. For their steeds. I mean, all right. So, how are angels created? Let's back this up a step. How do we create how are angels formed, fashioned, and created? Are the people who die and live in cherubim all angels, or are they? So, if you watch Hazbin Hotel, okay. So in hell there are the sinners. Then there's other types of demons. Some of those demons are native to hell. They are hellborns. They were never human souls. They've always just lived in hell. No, Husker was a sinner. He had a soul to sell. He sold it to Alistair. He was an overlord. So are they heavenborns? There would be heavenborns. Definitely would be here for sure. That or better idea. Atolium is the plane of creation. Heavenborns are from there. Because they were created. Mm-hmm. Yes. Heaven-born entities are from the red light district. Because it's the one that makes sense. The creation of the sexual variety And the city is districtized. It's not prostitution. It's not for money. It's purely for creation. Correct. When we get to Lust, baby, oh, just wait for all our inner barge to come out. Just wait for that shit. But once they've been created, they then move over to peace. Yes. They basically to enlist or stay in the heaven of creation, or go to whatever heaven they want to be a resident, denizen's the word I was looking for. But so let's go with this: a soul or heavenborn can enlist in the angelic host. Parentheses, the army. Mm-hmm. Now, my thought on when a soul does it, they get a rank, much like when a soul crosses the wall, they get a rank based on their... Well, no, like when a dragon dies, they get a rank based on something. Here, they would get a rank based on attributes they had in life, virtues and stuff like that. Because they're pure enough to be in heaven. So it's based on the level of virtuousness, essentially. Ooh, yes, souls get rank based on deeds. Better. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And then heavenborns. How do you want to handle a heavenborn? Mm-hmm. Okay. Mm-hmm. What about free will of the heavenly host? Because how are we going to have fallen angels if they can't choose to fall? Okay. Okay. No. And I'm not trying to make it. I'm trying to make sure that this is thought out like we've been doing the whole time. I want it. I like broken. In order for campaigns. Mm-hmm. No, I like it. I like it. I like it. I'm typing all this in as you were talking. Mm-hmm. 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 So with that in mind, it almost sounds like Heavenborn are almost automaton-esque in nature. But we've seen that before with things created by gods, as they're automaton-esque in nature through the Eternal Bartender, who's keeping Johnny Walker prisoner. Poor Johnny Walker! Hey, he's got a better afterlife than Steve. He could have been revived. He was very draconic. So down in Atolium, I put Heavenborn entities are from the Red Light District. Heavenborn are handcrafted to be given to a given role. I put B in there for an unknown reason. To a given role on a given heavenscape, so they don't even get a choice where they reside. They're created from scratch, pre-programmed to go to Cherubim and be in the war. After given their weapons and armor and all that, they then get sent to Cherubim, given their assignment, and then go to the Grey Wastes and fight some demons. Fallen in the same section, I have fallen angels or the Heavenborn who reject their assigned path. Depends on how they reject, and it depends on what they choose to do with that rejection. Because if they reject, my rationale here is, if they reject and they want to go live on Earth or on the Unity plane, who's going to stop them? They've got angelic level powers. Who's going to stop? Would you be able to stop Lucifer as another angel from going to Earth and chilling there for a few millennia if that's what he chose to do? Maybe the Archangel Michael. Okay, let's poke. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Correct. Correct. So the reason and Asimar. Yeah. No. Asmarian is not a bad term because it's the collection of Asimar, right? But ass. Hey, there's a reason they're called ass casts, bro. They're the Asimar. Yeah, come on. And Heaven's listening. But if they made it to heaven before they got booted, like if they followed through on the war and on the Grey Wastes made the decision, Cherubim can only close off the gate to them. Maybe. Mm-hmm. Maybe. Mm-hmm. So now that goes back to their creation. When they're created, are they tied to a power source and a deity, or what being actually creates them? Because we never discussed it. Could it be souls that live in Atolium? Or does it have to be a god? Because a god would have told the souls to do it, yes, but it wouldn't necessarily have to be. Where would the power source of an angel be from? I would imagine they'd be imbued with celestial essence, which would mean that their power comes from within. Not necessarily tied to a god, because what if the god Marastus made the angel, but the angel served this other deity? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. 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 Mm-hmm. Something like orichalcum. No, it's some kind of large fantasy material. Mm-hmm. 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 The river Styx. So no, not the river Styx exactly, but something along the lines of a river Styx. So, what if we took and said that there is a celestial waterway that links all the heavens, all the hells, all that whole side. It is an interplanar waterway. It's got many names throughout the different planes because there's got to be water in Terralia. Water dolphins. There's water in Cherubim for fountains and for funsies, right? I could see that being more of a canal that gets them their water. Like, they don't need water. Yeah, something fun, but they need it for the fucking water park for the kids. And for our bootylicious cherries. Okay. Ayaluum. Okay. Spell that. A-Y-U-L-I-A-M. A-Y-U-L-I-A-M. Mm-hmm. Okay. I'm gonna put an apostrophe in between the two. Crystalline waters. It is a celestial river that flows through and connects all. So here's the one thing I would see. So I'm gonna go even more sensible, a little more sensible than that. Marastus has the lake adjacent to the forge. He's got to cool the weapons. He's got to cool the armor. He's got to cool his forgery. So he uses that and I think so, because that would end up going all the way downhill, down into the hells. So the hells are using the same stuff, but they're using runoff. They're using gray water. That's why they're getting powerful level weaponry, but it's demonic instead of... Mm-hmm. Uh-huh. Which... Oh, okay, okay. So, M-A-U-L-U-Y-A. Maulua. Mm-hmm. Uses it to cool the creations he makes. Some of the material and essence bleeds out into the river and heads downstream. Which means to me, what that tells me is that the way the heavens now fit is they're stationed in a triangle. Yes. They're an upside down pyramid where you've got creation at the bottom of the pyramid. Right? But so here's the thing. It's in the center, but it's at the bottom of the pyramid because it's an upside down pyramid. So it'd be at it would be at the top of the pyramid, but that's at the very bottom of the triangle. Because the both are. It depends on how you want to visualize it, but it's 3 different points. Torellia has a canal that goes from Torellia over to Cherubim. Torellia is where the river starts. Then the waters flow into Atolium, where Marastus uses a lake to forage. Because we have to keep in mind that the people out there who are going to say, "Well, that's not how rivers work." It's an interplanar river. Get over it. It's magic, right? But I still like there being a sense of logic about it. And it should start. And I see Torellia being where it starts because Torellia is an infinite number of discs stacked vertically. So water would flow down the hill of Torellia into the city. Correct. Correct. It's on the Grey Wastes. And then from there, it flows down into the hellscapes. Imagine the mead that comes out of Valhalla. That's how they get there. I'm like, we gotta have something because they gotta have water of some variety, right? So we now have an interplanar river, and I am so waiting for Johnny Walker to bust out of time, get over to the Grey Wastes, and do a fucking canal from the Grey Waste River over to the Unity Plane and just create this immense waterfall that just is all angelic holy host water. I see. Oh, because he's already proven he can plane shift. Maybe that's why he ran. He's probably running away, and that's what he did before he fucking. It's. To Grey Wastes. Oh yeah. There's a lot of I see dead people. Hi, Steve. Oh, for those of you. Oh. Fucking, it's Steve versus Johnny. Like, Steve versus Johnny Walker. No, Steve and Johnny are even Lilith. It's, or Cain and Abel. You could go with that reference, too. Fuck it. It is now Steve Walker and Johnny Walker. Right? He never did. It is now Steve Walker and Johnny Walker. Uh-huh. Johnny Walker created a canal to Unity. Oh, it is so good because one of the things we can now thread through our reels and shit is that Johnny Walker and Steve Walker are being built with the world. Like, as for world building. Mm-hmm. No. Better. Here's the requirement. The first campaign is I will run it. You play in that campaign as Johnny, and then you run a campaign. I play Steve, and we run parallel campaigns because they're brothers. Because I will take y'all plane hop this. We are. Mm-hmm. So let's go ahead and do the shout outs, and then we were doing the tips and tricks at the end. Last time we did tips and tricks, we were trying to gear them more for the end of the show. Mm. Oh, cool. Solve it. Puzzles. You should give him our sphinxes. Awesome. And then I'm going to go ahead and shout out a podcast that is on a little bit of a hiatus right now, but they just deleted all their old content and are starting fresh because I don't know the exact reasons, but there's some drama stuff on the back end. But that is what it is. Yep. But it is the Rainbow Dice Club. You can find them on pretty much everywhere as Rainbow Dice Club, all one word. They are a group of 3 individuals who they are both players and GMs, and they take turns rotating through the seat with the same 3 characters. So they're always playing and always GMing at the same time. They are lovely, lovely, fantastic people, and they are starting back up on May 10th.
My mic's been muted.
Your mic was muted?
Yeah. Apparently I must have clicked a button.
Oh, fuck. So we lost that whole...
Once again, tech can just bite me.
Fuck. Hang on, give me a second. Let me find out when.
I just unmuted it,
I know.
which means it was probably muted the whole time.
Yeah, I'm going to...
One of these days, my fellow listeners, we will figure out technology, and technology will agree with us. I don't know when that will be, but it will be eventually. I promise you.
Yes, just jumped back all the way to the beginning, and we just lost that entire fucking episode.
That whole episode just went dark again. I apologize to everybody. Technology is a fun little thing, and it is very finicky, and I've been trying to do my best on managing it all, and apparently not doing a very good job.
Yep. But if you were live and you paid attention to half the stuff, usually I tend to repeat back to him. But that's okay. We will do a recap next episode. And it looks like we're just missing a week because we're just going to call it here.
Yep.
There's no point in pushing forward at this point.
Well, how about we recap now what we just all went through?
Steve and Johnny are brothers.
Steve and Johnny are brothers. They are Steve and Johnny Walker brothers, and they created all the portal shifting. They're the ones who made all the portal shifting.
No, Johnny himself. Johnny
did it. Johnny did it.
Johnny did it. Steve just died like an asshole.
Yeah, because of Johnny.
All right, so what we've decided in Cherubim. Cherubim is our plane of peace. So this is... Yeah, so Cherubim's our plane of peace. Apparently there are bootylicious cherries that take care of the needs of the young, because the dead young, anyone under the age of maturity, immediately go here.
Yep.
And beyond that, it was anyone who died peaceful and full life deaths. Once they've been deemed by the Sphinx that they are ready to die, and they lived a peaceful, full life. So most normal citizens of decent caliber.
Yeah, your typical people who had a very good life.
Jimmy's here.
No, we're not doing another one.
We're not. But just your random average Jimmy is chilling here. Because we got to save Joe for something special. Joe Schmo is in hell, I think. But
I think
Jimmy's here. But if anyone elderly dies and ends up going to Cherubim, they
are given the
body
option
of their youth.
Well, they're given the option based on the answers that they give the Sphinx. They are essentially given the option to choose to be put onto Cherubim. And God damn it, that name.
Grabometric Dragon!
Grabometric Dragon!
It's from Cherubim.
I feel like he made it.
He did. It's his bum.
It's his
I'm kidding. It's not.
Oh, shit. So essentially, people who die and they get the chance to go to Cherubim based on the answers that they give the Sphinx, they are allowed to choose based on their answers to either be brought back in their prime bodies, or they can choose to stay in the bodies that they lived their entire lives in, depending on how they feel about themselves. As
most paladins show up here, and their job is to protect the plane.
Yeah.
If anything comes in, they are guardians, peacekeepers, that kind of role. Because the celestial army, the angelic hosts, are out fighting the war on the Grey Wastes.
Correct.
Did you want to go into that a little more in detail yourself?
Yeah, so we had as well figured out that the army of the Celestial Gathering is created not here on Cherubim, but actually on Atolium. And they are sent to Cherubim to either live or thrive, and then from Cherubim are sent to the Grey Wastes for the Celestial and Hell Wars. It's where the majority of the angelic hosts live. The Celestial Army lives on Cherubim as they're being trained and brought up to scale to be sent off to fight. This is also where our Heavenborn, so the entities who are born strictly in heaven, they're not souls of unity. They're not created anywhere else. They are strictly created here. This is where they live. This is their plane, their area of existence.
And we pulled that idea from the parallelism with Has-Been Hotel.
Has-Been Hotel,
where they have the Hellborns as a section of their society. We took a parallelism and threw it up here too.
Yeah, and we decided that the Heavenborn are assigned their ranks when they are created, and they can improve their ranks through deeds, through whether it be combat or anything that they do within the Celestial War. We also came to the realization and the conclusion and made the comment that fallen angels, this is where this will kind of happen as well, and how it happens. A fallen angel is created when an angel or a celestial being who is created on Atolium refuses his ranking, refuses his job that he is given, and just kind of goes, nah. Their power is linked to these scapes. So if they essentially fall, their power is locked out from them because it's derived from a river that flows through the three scapes. And this river is what gives them powers. You want to delve on how the river functions?
So the river is a river that actually, beyond just connecting all three scapes, the heavens, it actually connects all the hells too.
Yeah.
So this river has many names. The global, because it is an interplanar river, the overall name is Iuluum if it's in the heavenscapes, or Maulua if it's down in the hells.
Yeah.
Now, that doesn't mean that the river Styx wouldn't still be a name for it in the nine hells.
That just might be a name that it gets crafted after.
We'll get there later, and that could just be a local name.
Yeah.
Like many rivers have different names depending on the language you're speaking. But this is the translation of this turns into crystalline waters.
Yeah.
But it connects all these planes. It starts in Terelia. There's a canal that was crafted by the gods that runs it over to Cherubim. And then once it has flown through all the layers of Terelia, it then links into Atolium, and there's a large lake in Atolium right at the Celestial Forge. So Marastus has water to temper and cool his weapons and other things he creates at the forge. Through that cooling process, some runoff happens, which means anything beyond him going further down in the chain is polluted.
It's polluted with celestial capabilities.
It's polluted with celestial capabilities, which means that it then flows from there down to the Grey Wastes. So there's now a river in the Grey Wastes that was not there 2 weeks ago. But that's okay. This river then flows down into the hellscapes. We haven't figured out the order there yet, but
that's when we get to the hellscapes.
we'll get there exactly.
Yeah.
But we did figure out that our good old boy Johnny Walker, the guy living over in the bar,
over in Time and Fate.
Time and Fate, yeah. He, the reason he's chilling there is he's on the run.
He's on the run. He's running because he potentially killed Steve.
Well, he's Steve's brother.
I think he killed Steve.
I think he killed Steve too.
I think he killed Steve, and I think that's why he's running.
I think he killed Steve, but we'll find out the true fate of Steve and Johnny as time goes on. We are not losing those two.
It'll be an ongoing story for sure.
But the last thing he did before he ran away was he created a canal from the gray wastes, the crystalline waters from the gray wastes, on a one-way ticket to the material plane, to the plane of Unity.
To Unity, which we don't know where that leads to or where that runs off to, but I assume that it creates some very magical, fucked up shit.
Because it's already got angelic host powers.
Yeah. So like,
talk about your fountain of youth.
That's what I was gonna say. That would essentially be like, you'd probably every world, every homebrewed creation that I've ever come across has always had one area. Like I even have it in Arcanlan, where there is an area that has magical water flowing through that can remove poisons or remove curses or, you know, heal things that are messed up. That would be this. That would be this river. That would be this waterfall that just all of a sudden appears out of nowhere and then flows. And then as it flows through Unity, it slowly gets, you know, purged out and cleansed and turns into less magical. But at the main gate of where it comes from, that would be the strongest. Right there. That would be the strongest pond, you could say, of magical water that people would thrive to go and hunt down. Like, you would have quests to go and hunt down essentially like the holy grail of waters.
It may not even have a river. It may just be a
pond,
a lake with no rivers or anything leading into it. It's just there's lake.
Just water, and
it's
like the most
randomest
happened? Places,
like Florida.
Florida is a lake.
Florida is a lake. That's where the Fountain of Youth is.
That's why all the crocodiles live there so well.
Right? But that is more or less what we...
That is the short and cherry bomb of what we discussed tonight. And again, I am so sorry to both Eric and our listeners for my screw up once again. I will get better at it. I promise. I really will.
I can't promise I would have been any better if it was my end. So, you know.
There's so many things to keep track of, and I'm very new to this. We are both very new to this, and we're trying our best, man. We're trying our best. We'll get there.
But now when you take this one, take it and cut it down to basically where we go, oh, fuck.
Yes. Yes.
And we'll put out a 20-minute episode or whatever. But
pretty much, yeah, we'll have to cut it. But that's that.
Right. So, real quick, tips or tricks. What did you have for us today?
Okay, I have some notes that I made that we wanted to discuss from last time. Let's hear. How to end an episode or a session. That was what we had discussed last episode behind the scenes, and we realized that people do have a hard time with ending a session, because how do you find that pinnacle moment to just end a session? Do you just, okay, we're done, this is where we're stopping? As a GM, what do you do, or what can you do to make those seamless and easy and pinnacle? Because a lot of GMs, whether you're new or old, you want to have that cliffhanger. You want to have that moment where you end the session at that right time that makes your players want to come back to the table. How do you do that?
So I've actually been working on this over on the Hebridean Tales a lot lately. What I've been doing is, so there's this natural ebb and flow to the way the session is going, right?
Yeah.
As it reaches like just before that climax, unless the episode was finishing off a climax, right? Yeah. If I'm working on building into this climax, I let it build up, build, and then I just cut it.
And that's so the problem that a lot of DMs have that I've come across, that I've heard or seen or talked with other people about, is they have a hard time timing that. So everybody likes to have that perfect either 1 hour session or 2 hour session, give or take. Some people go crazy and they do 4 hour sessions, which is what I used to do because we only played once a month.
16.
Or 16 because you're psychopaths.
I mean, that happens.
So it's your job as a GM, as a game master, as a storyteller, as a weaver of tales, to know your plot points. Know the points that you want to get across in a session. Make sure you write them down, have them keyed out. Expect your players to fuck with you. It's gonna happen. Have multiple locations in an episode, or in a session, sorry, that you can end it on. You're not gonna always end it on that perfect hour mark or that perfect 2 hour mark.
Yeah.
So have say 5 or 6 key moments in a session where you go, okay, I can end it here, and have them kind of all bunched together a little bit at the end, so that you have different areas that you can look and go, okay, you know what, we're starting to hit that time. Let's start to wrap it up a little bit, but you do it in your head. Don't tell your players that you're doing, because you want it to be unexpected. You want it to be like a punch to the face. So it's very good to have those key aspects pre-written in your head for when you're getting ready to close the session off. Sometimes you just have to close it. You just have to look. Yeah.
The other thing to make sure you do is, so players are going to mess with your story as you're playing that session.
100%.
Every time. 100% of the time. 120% of the time. Because they'll screw up their own plans, and then that's the other 20%.
Well, yeah.
So what I focus on is knowing what's happening. What is going on in the town or city or the side of the road? What's happening in the forest?
Having your backstory.
Having your backstory, just like you ask your players to have their backstory for their characters, have your backstory of what's going on in the area the players camp.
Yeah.
And camp is also including like hotels or inns or wherever they're staying.
Or even your world, like your entire, like you don't have to do it in a entire world aspect, but maybe just like the region that they're dealing with, or like you said, like the location that they're dealing with is very, very key.
Are there assassins in that town that are out for them, or that they could just run across them?
Yeah.
Good to go. Some DMs like to use random encounter tables for that. Personally, I recommend you build your own.
Yes, because that definitely,
again,
it allows you to have a more personal feeling.
But as far as ending, you want to make sure you end it if the whole episode is a combat episode, just end it after the combat and be like, and they run away and don't let them follow. Just say, all right, guys, and him running away, and that's where we're going to end our session. Because they will forget and not worry about
mid-combat. Do not ever
unless you really have to.
Yeah, if you really, really have to, then do it. But if you can avoid it, then avoid it.
If it's going to be mid-combat, it's a phased combat.
Yes.
Where they finish off a horde, and there's another horde coming. And that's how you do that. Or you're fighting a vampire. They kill the vampire, and then he comes back to life, and it's like, what the mother?
Right.
Like that kind of stuff. Phased combat is different.
Very different.
And absolutely end at a phase. absolutely end in the middle of a phase, even if it's for a 10-minute bathroom break. Be like, all right, guys, we're going to go ahead and take a bathroom break here real quick. I got to go pee. Like, doing that alone, even if it's in the middle of a session, can build so much the fuckery in your players.
Giving them something to want to come back to the table for.
Mm-hmm.
That is probably my biggest key, is what I would say.
My goal every time is to try and get one of my players to cuss me out at the end of the game.
Oh, I get that regularly. It's great.
That's my goal. If they're not cussing me at the way I edit it, either in their head or out loud,
and you can
need to figure out. Oh yeah. You can tell, especially if you've got cameras on or you're playing in person, because they'll like hit the table or they'll have this like big eyes and you're just like, and you just hear their face go.
It's definitely a very key factor. Like I know for me personally, when I'm trying to end a session or I'm trying to plan a session, and I like it's definitely harder to do for a podcast because you're on a time crunch. Like for us, we are on a time crunch for how we are running our sessions because we want it to fit within a pocket of time. If you're at just a table for fun, a little more loose, you have a little more capability of being like, okay, we can play for another 15, 20 minutes until we hit that point that we want. With a podcast, you definitely have to, as a game master, time it. So I like to make sure that I have, like I said before, key things that I want to get across. I like to end it on emotional trauma. A about to be fight scene or after a fight scene.
Yes, both of those are solid.
Excessive lore drops.
Yes, those are very good ones, especially because those let them process between then and the next session.
Yeah, it gives them something to think about and come back to the table.
Chew on.
Because it's good to give your players lore during a session, but the problem is halfway through, like if you throw lore at them at the beginning of the episode or halfway through the session, it gets lost.
On the player, not the characters, because the characters are fictional.
Yeah,
but
on the players, it gets a little lost. Whereas if you end a session on a big lore drop, a big chunk of information that's key to what their campaign is, they're going to eat that. And they're, like you said, they're going to be dwelling on that for the next week, 2 weeks, month, however long it takes you to get to your next session. So that's
at least a week afterwards. They'll chew on it for a week afterwards if you're meeting in every once a month or whatever.
Yeah. So that's where I would leave it. Is have your key points, know where you want to potentially end your session, and just try to work it into your session. Halfway through, if you know you're playing for an hour, at the half hour mark, 30-minute mark, know in the back of your head, okay, I have 30 minutes to get these points across, and this is where I want to end it. So you may have to push your players a little bit to get to that location, because you will have the players who like to do the tomfoolery. And if you do, expect it, anticipate that, and plan around it, or know that you're going to have to end a session on maybe not a dramatic moment. Not every ending has to be dramatic. It doesn't.
Your players
have
will come back.
It doesn't
most
have
of the
to
time
be
anyway.
Most of the time, it doesn't have to be climatic. It doesn't have to be some epic episode ending or session ending.
Bedtime's a great ending.
Yeah. Resting is a good time.
Bedtime is a phenomenal ending. Saying, all right, long rest, fantastic. We'll end right here.
Yeah, we'll see you next
time. Because that gives you a chance to plan. Is it going to be an eventful one, an uneventful one?
What's going to happen during the sleep? Is there going to be an encounter?
During the sleep? Correct. A dozen things you can figure out about that night that you can plan into the next session and give you a good starting scene.
Exactly.
The goal is to end a session. You want to be able to plan the opening scene of your next session. If you can't plan off of that, you need to figure out somewhere to end where you are like, all right, you just Sparta kicked down this door. Now I'm ending it because I don't know what's behind the door yet. Like,
if you don't,
you as the DM don't know, stop the session.
Stop it right there.
Stop.
Unless you're really, really good at improv.
Yeah, I mean, if you're good at improv or you know what's behind it loosely, then go for it. But
those
I
are
wouldn't.
those
You
are
have
good places
no
to
idea.
end it.
Yeah,
But
but
with
nighttime's
that-
always a good one.
With that, it is currently our nighttime. So
Mhm.
we will be closing off tonight. Again, my listeners, Eric, I'm sorry.
I heard every word.
I know you did. I know you did. I just, for some reason, OBS decided to mute me.
It's okay. But you know what? We will be back next week, and we are headed to hell, baby.
And we're going to have all our audio figured out, I promise. And I will have a new beer to broadcast.
Don't make promises you can't keep.
Oh, I can keep them. I can keep them.
I'll try and remind him, guys. Don't worry about it.
We'll get there. We'll get there. But we love
All
you
right.
all. We miss you all. We hope you come back and join us again next time for another episode of The World Forge.
Absolutely. Ciao.